Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
All right. Well, welcome back. It's 10:30, and so we're moving into Module 2 of the Year 1 training. And I've already started the recording, just a reminder that we are recording. And I really should be sharing something else for a moment. Let me get this up. Can you see that, Bettina?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We are moving into this section here of Module 2. So all the links that you will need for this session are right here within the Importance Links section. The breakout rooms will be the same breakout rooms we used in Module 1 when Bettina was presenting. So you might want to close out the links that you opened in Module 1 except for the breakout room, so you'll have that easy access to go back to. And then that way you don't have so much open on your screen, because we heard that that could be an issue sometimes. So just be sure you've got this section right here of Module 2 with all the links ready to go. So as we proceed, you can have what you need. Okay, so do you see the welcome back, Bettina?
Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to revisit our virtual session structure. It's been, I fixed it a little bit, because now we're going to do Module 2, the same thing, 10:30 to 11:45, but instead of going away to lunch, I'm going to set you up with the Module 3, what you need to do during your independent study. Then we'll let you go to lunch, and then you'll be on your own to do the Module 3 and your book club. And if you've decided with your group that you're doing book club on another day, that's fine. But then to be sure you do the survey, which is at the very bottom of the digital handout. And if you see at the very bottom, Bettina and I will be on, we will stay on until 1:45. So if you have questions about the Module 3 after you get off and get into it, we will be there. Or if you have other questions, we will be there to answer. So now we're going to move into the pre-conference conversation. This connects beautifully to the listening that we were thinking about, because when we pre-conference with teachers, we need to be sure that we're listening to what they need, and hopefully they are listening to us about what we can offer. So here are the learning targets: to explain the purpose of a pre-conference, determine the essential components of a pre-conference, examine a pre-conference, and make a question recipe, which we'll get into, and then practice a pre-conference. So the pre-conference this is coming from the Moves with Diane Sweeney, and I'm going to read a little more than the last paragraph to you. It was when she was getting ready to begin a coaching cycle. When she arrived on the first day of the coaching cycle, it became apparent that co-teaching was not what Rhonda had in mind. She met Diane at the classroom door, pointed to a large set of wooden cubbies, and said, "Right here, I have cubbies set up for my students. I wanted to let you know that I made a cubby for you too. I'll put the papers there for you to use with your small group, and then you can put them back when you leave. Here's a list of students you will be working with." Diane wasn't sure what to say. It seemed as if she was expected to go off in the corner and teach a small group of students. She wondered how coaching would happen under these circumstances. As she stood there with a stack of papers in her hand, Diane wished she could press rewind and talk with Rhonda about their partnership, what it would look like. She considered settling in at the back table to work with the small group for the next few weeks, calling it a coaching cycle, and then move on. This felt safer than nudging Rhonda in a direction that she didn't seem interested in going. Or she could sit down with Rhonda to reframe the purpose for a coaching cycle. This felt a little riskier, but after giving it some thought, Diane decided to at least try to salvage the coaching cycle by recommending other ways they might work together, including co-planning and co-teaching. Having this conversation wasn't easy, particularly since the coaching cycle had already begun. When Diane brought up the option of co-teaching, Rhonda seemed unsure. So Diane suggested, how about if we plan and then teach some of the lessons together? Excuse me. After thinking it through, Rhonda agreed to give it a try. And as their work shifted to more of a partnership, the cubby went unused. But even with these positive steps, Diane couldn't help but notice that the coaching cycle felt strained. She suspected that Rhonda had hoped that she would work with one specific group of struggling students. And when she reframed her role as a coach, Rhonda may have felt that she wasn't getting what she'd signed up for. This experience provided an invaluable lesson about setting agreements before a coaching cycle, rather than working from assumptions about what we think will happen. If the coaching cycle is built on a shaky foundation, it almost always feels strained. And when coaching cycles feel strained, we diminish our ability to impact student learning. So I want you to take just a few minutes to reflect on that example. I think we've all either been there or may be there. So just take a few minutes. You might want to jot down what you're thinking in your journal. So thinking about a pre-conference conversation, what is the purpose of a pre-conference conversation? And how might a pre-conference conversation impact the coaching cycle? Think about those two questions and just put your thoughts in the chat. And Bettina, if you'll just read some out loud for me, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Jennifer, could you read that question to me one time?
Yeah, there are two of them. What is the purpose of a pre-conference conversation? And how might a pre-conference conversation impact the coaching cycle?
Thank you.
All right, we have setting clear expectations, setting the purpose, ensuring that both or all parties have the same focus. Don't make assumptions. The purpose is to discuss and plan how the coaching cycle should look. Clarify needs and expectations.
Well, y'all are really putting some great ideas down, and it's so important that the teacher feels a part of this coaching cycle. So really getting into finding out, so that's where your listening from module 1 is going to come in so handy, because you're listening for those things that the teacher may feel unsure about, things that she may not be open to doing yet, he or she, I should say. And so really getting them to verbalize. And I personally like for the teacher to be the recorder as we're talking about what we're going to work on, that they are writing it down, because if they're writing it down, they're more committed to doing it because they wrote it. It's not that you've changed the words to make it fit what makes sense to you. And then, you know, you can always revisit during and after. So Jim Knight's words of wisdom. Our work with the teacher is for the teacher and her students, and therefore the teacher's wishes guide our actions in her classroom. And I think some of the big words to me are her students, her wishes, her classroom. We have to remember We all, when we were teachers, it's my classroom, our classroom, and it really feels funny when somebody else is coming in. So we have to really respect that. So pre-conference, why do we do it? I'm gonna let you read these bullets. As you can see, the first thing you really should discuss is data. That'll take you away from assumptions because data doesn't lie. Now, it may be skewed, but then if you're looking at more than one piece of data, you can start looking for patterns. So, and if there is no data, then you can discuss that too. Where is the data? We need to collect some data. Then naming goals, really fine tuning those goals and getting the teacher to name it for herself. Because again, if you're naming it for her or him, it's not going to stick. And then again, that's when I have them write the goals down. And then together you come up with a plan of what the instructional decision making will be. Then envision possibilities and outcomes. So you're thinking, after we do this, what should we see? That this low reading level will move up, that these children will have more volume in reading and writing, whatever it is, name it so that we know if we get there, because the data has to match what we're trying to reach. The next one is so important, clarifying roles. What's the teacher's role? What's your role? You're not going to go make all the copies because hopefully we're not having to make copies anyway. It may be, where some great text are, but then you have to look at it, decide if she thinks it's appropriate for the students. There's got to be some teamwork there. Then pinpointing what desired feedback the teacher wants from this cycle. And I would even say you to pinpoint what desired feedback you want from the teacher so that it's reciprocal. So we're all learning in this together and it's not one pitted against the other.
Jennifer, we have one question.
Okay.
It says, are most teachers going through a coaching process on their own, or is it because they are required to do it? So is it voluntary or are they required to do it?
I would hope it's voluntary, because when you're voluntold, they're not as receptive. You might need to have a discussion with your principal about that. Now, I have had some coaches that the principal has, they've been put on team, and part of the team is that they will go through coaching cycles. But the coaches sit down and really say, I'm here to help you. I know you're going through this. The principal has asked me to come work with you. But then to still let them guide that, what they think out of the data, because you'll have that data, how to name the goals of, you may need to fine tune what they need to look at, funnel their focus, because sometimes it's so many things that they need to do, but really prioritizing what you could do that would maybe be a quick fix, so to speak, so that they feel successful and then you can continue. But it's really, some reading I was doing, I can't remember for y'all or for whatever, was talking about you really should be coaching the best teachers first, because then those teachers that see that you're going in the rooms that everybody thinks are fantastic and they're still coachable. Because I always love to use analogies of football. I'm a football person. I don't really like Tom Brady, but he is a good quarterback. But guess what? He still goes to practice every day. He has a quarterback coach. He's always refining and doing. So showing the school that everyone gets coached is really big. That's a message that needs to be sent. So Gym Night has a pre-conference checklist. And on the module 2, where I showed you where those links are, there, and it has that name, Gym Night's pre-conference checklist. If you will click on that and open it, reflect on your pre-conference conversations you might have had, or the next pre-conference conversation you will be having, and think about what parts of the checklist are most essential. So I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes to look over the checklist and then type in some of the parts of the checklist you think are most essential into the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and share. So about 2 or 3 minutes.
Hey, Jennifer, I share a few that's starting to come in.
Okay.
Establishing the purpose and desired form of feedback. That is the most crucial in their opinion. It is okay to talk with students, taking notes, determining what data will be collected, which is the purpose, and when data will be shared, which is in a follow-up. That seems to be the number one so far, determining the purpose and feedback. A question that they like is anything else you would like to share?
Okay. Because I really think they're all super important, but I think data is number one, because you really, and then really talking about when we're going to meet, who's going to, really distinguishing the roles, what you're going to do, what the teacher's going to do. So there's no assuming, because we can really run into problems when we assume things.
And I'm thinking about how the form says pre-observation conference, but this can be used if you're not just going in to observe, but to begin a true coaching cycle of co-teaching and co-planning. Make sure that we have a clear understanding of what our roles will be.
Yes, I agree with that. And, and by writing them down and having the teacher write things down too, then you can say, okay, let's make sure we have the same thing down here so that we know what we're going to be doing, because it keeps that accountability for both of you. And then to me, another important thing is putting things on the calendar. Okay, this is the time we're going to meet. This is when we're going to do the planning. This is what I'm going to bring to the planning. This is what you're going to bring to the planning. We may send some emails, but really, I know that sounds nitpicky, but it really, until they get used to these cycles, they need to know they can't blow you off because, oh, they had an IEP they had to go do. You say, no, we were already on the calendar. Or you let me know so that we can reschedule, so that they realize it's important and it's not just something that, oh, yeah, whatever. This is number 2 on the checklist, determining desired feedback, because I think it's so important to know, what does the teacher want to know from you from this cycle? So asking them, what type of feedback are they desiring? Is it appreciation? We always like it when someone sees what we're doing well and expresses gratitude for our efforts. Is it more coaching intended to help them get better at what they're doing? Or is it evaluation? It tells how you're doing compared to a standard. Now, we say at the department, you are not evaluators, but you could look at evaluating materials that are being used, or evaluating maybe the routines and procedures that are going on with the children. Is it working for the children? So compared to a expectation that they have going into it, is this working? So you can evaluate strategies, evaluate programs, that you're not evaluating the teacher.
Jennifer, when we're doing coaching cycles, I know right now the ones that I'm doing are more assigned, like somebody mentioned earlier. I know some of my teachers have asked my opinion on where things fell within the rubric. Is it okay to reference? I mean, I've been referencing the rubric and saying, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm not giving them a score. So
Right. Yeah. You can support them and scaffold them to understand what they can do. Oh, but you're just not going in and check.
absolutely. Thank you.
Right. Good question. So now we're going to watch a video of a pre-conference, and I want you to think about what points are evident according to that checklist that you were just looking at. So because all of the videos weren't working in the PowerPoint, I'm going out. And Bettina, you let me know if this can be seen when I bring it up. Can you see it?
I can.
Can you hear it?
I can't.
Okay, all righty, here we
We'll
go.
play it first. Nope, I can't.
You can't hear it?
No.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to go in here and unshare and then share again. Story of our lives. Okay, share. Let me know if you can hear it this time.
No.
Don't know why it's not working.
Did you click, when you unshared, did you click the audio?
Probably not. That's what I just realized.
And I promise you, when I put this in PowerPoint mode and I tried it, it played and I didn't have to unshare.
Yeah. Okay, include computer sound. All right, I think this will work this time. I apologize. Here we go.
So,
Yes.
tomorrow I'll be in your classroom observing, but before I go in there, what exactly is it that you want me to be observing or looking for?
Okay, tomorrow morning we're actually going to be doing a friendly letter, so I would like for you to actually take a look. How long does it take me to process the lesson to my students?
Okay, and so you feel you want me to see how long? Is there a specific reason why you want me to see how long it takes for kids to process it?
Yes, sometimes it takes me long to deliver my lesson for my students, especially I see myself that I'm repeating myself pretty much when it comes to those students that need a lot of my extra attention. And this is why I think that my time, it's not pretty much delivering my time.
You feel your time you want it to be utilized a little bit better.
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to look for how long it takes you to deliver your lesson from beginning to end, and basically what I'm hearing you say is that it's a time management issue. You feel yourself repeating because for whatever reason you want to see if your kids maybe understand it better by repeating more often.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe is there data that you would like me to collect while I'm in there?
Yes. From the time I start my lesson to the time I finish my lesson, I would like for you to actually take a look if I'm actually doing it the correct way and if my students are actually understanding what I'm introducing to them.
Okay, so then what I can do is maybe just jot down the time you start, how long it takes you to the time you finish, and then with that said, so you mentioned about if your kids are understanding, so maybe what we can do is after the lesson, during our post-conference, we can look at whatever independent work they had and see if maybe 80 to 85% of the class actually mastered what you expected them to master within that, for the objective for the day or so forth. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
And then also, do you have maybe any kids that I need to be aware of? Do you need to accommodate to? So I know, okay, well, she's working with them a little more for a specific reason.
Yes, I do. I have actually one student in my classroom that needs some extra attention because she has difficulties understanding and grasping the information, especially because she's not able to pay that much attention to me because of some personal issues that's going on with the student. So this is why I actually sit next to her when she needs my extra attention.
Okay, sounds good. And as I'm observing, do you want me just to simply observe, or would you like me to interact with the kids if that's the situation?
I would like for you just to observe my classroom first, and then from there we could meet, and then if I need extra help, I will let you know.
Perfect. Okay, so that sounds good. So then tomorrow morning, I'll go ahead and be in your classroom.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so looking back at that checklist as you were observing that conference, show me, just unmute yourself instead of typing things that you noticed from the checklist that were used.
She asked how she wanted to be engaged in the classroom. Did she want to just observe or be active?
Right. Because sometimes we kind of forget they might not want us walking around and talking to the children when we're in there. Someone else.
I like the way she was asking specifically what she wanted her to be looking for.
Mm-hmm. That lets the teacher be in control of her classroom and what she wants you to do.
And then brought it back to data on how she was going to measure that, whether her students processed and got the information that she was teaching.
Very important.
She asked about students. Were there any particular students that she needed to be aware of?
Mm-hmm.
I like the way the coach narrowed it down to a time management issue. Like she really listened to the teacher to get exactly what maybe the underlying worry the teacher had was. And it was like her instruction, her time management, maybe with the lesson and the kids' attention span, and if she was getting the message across to them in the appropriate amount of time.
Anybody else? And did you notice how she would restate what the teacher said to make sure she understood her correctly? That is part of cognitive coaching, because this is a cognitive coaching video, but it's helpful sometimes, again, because my word for last year and this year has been interpretation. And what I hear someone say might not be what they really want me to hear. And so by restating it the way I understood it, that I can get clarification. So I think that's very important when you're going into a classroom to make sure you're on the same page with what they're wanting you to do. So with the coaching cycle, the pre-conference, I'm just going to let you say this and not that T-chart to yourself. It's just really the cup half full compared to the cup half empty. So cognitive coaching questioning. Cognitive coaching is a coaching model that requires the coach to be non-judgmental, to encourage reflective practice, and to guide another person to self-directed learning. So now the next slide, you have a link to this on the digital handout. It's a planning conversation. So in a moment, I want you to go and open that. But let's just look at it for a minute on the screen. If the desired cognitive thought or process is to describe the purpose of the lesson, then envision, then predict, sequence, estimate, define, metacogitate, self-assess, and describe. Then the coach on the right side might ask for each one different types of questioning. So I want you, in a moment, you're going to look at your handout more closely. Then you also already have that checklist, but there's also a checklist for listening and questioning. And you're going to use those two handouts to choose 4 to 6 questions you could use as your framework to kind of get comfortable with doing it this way in all your pre-conference coaching conversations. Now, we don't have a recipe card for you, so on the links you see that there is a Padlet link, and you will click into a box and make your recipe using the planning conversation questions and the listening and questioning checklist to formulate yourself a little plan of pre-conference questions that could be open-ended enough to use for pre-conferencing with teachers. Because after you do this, we're going to go into breakout rooms and you're going to practice with a group doing your pre-conference questioning to see how it goes. Because you got to practice with people that aren't going to be offended at first, that you can get better at it. So now I want you to go to the digital handout and find the planning conversations and find your listening and questioning checklist. And I'm going to give you about 8 to 10 minutes to look at that and work on your recipe card on the Padlet. Be sure to put your name on your recipe card so you can go back and find it quickly, because we're going to give you a chance to revise again after you have practiced. And I want you, as you're looking at the recipes, to read others' recipes, because you might go, oh yeah, I need to add that to mine too. So I'm going to be quiet now. It's 11:02. So at about 11:15, be sure you've got your recipe on your Padlet and have read a few others, and make sure you have your name on your recipe. And then we will move forward at 11:15 from this. As you complete your recipe, sample some of the other recipes, and if you want to revise your recipe, make it even tastier. Okay, we've got about 5 more minutes, but if everybody gets finished, we can move on. So I'm going to check again in just a few minutes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
I'm sorry to ask. I cannot figure out how I need to start typing.
You just have to click in there and it should open up a box.
Okay, mine isn't, but it's probably my fault. I will try. I will figure it out. Sorry.
Okay.
There's a plus sign down on the bottom right of your screen, or there should be.
Thank you.
Thank you. My picture is covering it up.
Okay. Great technology in the way. Okay, I think most of you have gotten your recipes on there, but you still have time to work on that. What we're going to do now is you're going to try it. We're going to have some mock pre-conference conversations, and you're going to practice, and you're going to go back into the breakout rooms that you went into earlier today. But before you go, on the digital handout, you will see a link that says you try it. It will have, when you open it up, it will have this slide and this slide. So you know what I want you to do. So when you're in the breakout room, after you practice, I want y'all to discuss how did it go on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective was your question recipe in setting up the purpose for your classroom visit and why, and how can you create other recipes to be used as coaching tools moving forward. Then take time to reflect in your journal about that discussion so that you can hold on to those things that you this experience. So again, there will be a link on the digital handout in Module 2 titled You Try It. You click that open so you can have that, then go back to the breakout room that you were in before. And since some of you have 4 and some of you have 2 or 3, I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to do this. And we'll check in and see how you're going if you need more time. But that would have us stopping at about, well, I'm going to give you a little more than 15. That, if we stop at 11:30, that gives you 18 minutes. So, or 17. I can't do math. But go ahead and open up the You Try It link so you have that to refer back to, and go into your breakout room and use your recipe card to practice. Any questions? Great.
It says to video it. Do we need to video it?
No, ignore that. I thought I'd taken that out. You're just practicing right now. Everybody back now? Okay. I think it's working now. So hopefully everyone is back now. I hope you had an opportunity to practice and to discuss how it went. If you would, just type into the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective was your question recipe? And thinking, just put 1 to 10, and Patina can kind of call out what she sees in the chat. How you're feeling.
Oh, I see a 6, a 7-ish. So that means it's beyond. Yeah.
Well,
7 is 7. 8.
All right.
Six-ish. See a lot of 7s.
Good. Well, I hope you took some notes as you were doing this on how you could use these and how you could maybe create other recipes to be used as you're moving forward in your coaching, especially for your pre-conference reflections. So in closing, we had also, when we saw the surveys and things, a lot of, not a lot, but a few of you said it was hard to meet with your principal or whatever. And so you can use this as an assignment if you want to say from my year 1 training, I've been asked to go talk to my principal to share about the social emotional check-in we did this morning. You remember that gratitude video and or the CASEL website you might want to share with your principal. Module 1 about committed listening. You might want to share some things that you learned from that, or even the article that we were jigsawing. The coaching cycles that we have just finished with the pre-conference and the questioning and thinking about how to set that up so it's a partnership and not just you going in and trying to fix things. That might be a good conversation to have. As you're continuing your book study, giving them highlights from things that are your ahas and your takeaways that you think are important. And on the digital handout, we always have an MTSS section there. And we always have a link so that you could go to a module. And if there's something you're interested in and think it would be helpful to share with your principal, again, that's another great thing to share. Or you could share any of this with your leadership team. But just great ways to kind of move this information that you're learning forward into your school building. So the bringbacks, which would be on your digital handout right above the survey, you always need your journal. It's always important to have the competencies that we put on the past 2 links on the last 2 agendas, and I believe it's on this agenda. Your MOA, but you could go back and find that in the previous agendas. What we want you to bring back for next time is a video this time. You just practiced today, but a video of you practicing with the teacher in your building. So I would go get with somebody that will play the role with you and be kind, just so that you get more practice and get more comfortable with using your recipe and thinking about how you can use this pre-conference. And it may be enlightening with that may be one of your better teachers that still you may find something that they really want you to help them work with. So just it doesn't have to be a long video, just a short little video. And just keep that in your artifacts, Google file, wherever you're keeping things. Just name it as the pre-conference video so you can share that when we get back together next time. And then, of course, your continued reading of The Art of Coaching. Just want to keep that as a reminder that y'all need to keep that book study going with your book study group. So any questions about what you need to bring back for Module 2 before I set you up for your independent study? Okay, and anytime you want to, you can take a picture of these slides to help yourself remember.
Is there a particular place we need to put our book study information? Like last time there was a particular page we had to post our summary information.
Yes, just keep putting it there. The same place.
Is that link on this new agenda?
It probably is not, but I will write myself a note to, I'll email it out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? That was a good one. All right. So again, just remember that we have just finished Module 2 and we finished 4 minutes ahead of time. So instead of going to lunch, I'm going to set you up for what you're going to be doing independently. Then you'll have lunch on your own, or you can go on and do Module 3. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And then, like I said earlier, if you're meeting with your book club today during that time, there it is. If you set up another time because you have other conflicts, that's fine, as long as y'all are meeting and you're finished by the end of our last meeting in April. But don't forget at the end of the day to complete the survey, which is at the very bottom of your digital handout. So, oh, I didn't. Okay, I thought I put it in there. Hang on. Well, phooey. Okay, I'm just going to pull up the digital handout because the directions are there. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. If you come down to Module 3, there is a recording link. It's only a 10-minute video, and I think I heard Sandy in all my craziness this morning say you might want to watch that before you go to lunch just to see if you have questions, make sure it works for you. All of the links below, you can pause the video as many times as you want. If you want to get in one of those breakout rooms with a buddy and watch it together, whatever y'all want to do, or if you want to do it by yourself. But all of these links here go along with the video. And she said that she put some specific directions in there. So you will complete that. And as you see, the last link is a principal-coach partnership agreement. There is another opportunity for you to meet with your principal after you have watched this to think about how to clarify your role and what you need to be doing as a coach. So another great opportunity to get with your principal. So Bettina and I are here because Sandy's son is here from out of town, and so she ducked out. So Bettina and I will be in this Teams meeting until 1:45. So as you go off, and if you do something and you see that you have questions, we may take a few minutes to go get us something to eat, but I'll have it on so I can hear if somebody's in here. But please do not hesitate to come back to ask for clarification from anything that we've done today, or if you just have questions or concerns that you want to come talk to us about. So moving ahead, you just have this Module 3. Everything, as I said, is on the link. And I also put the videos from last month's sessions on here right beneath that. And then there's the MTSS information. And then as you scroll on down, here are what you need to bring back. Module 1, committed listening goal, putting it into practice. Module 2, your video of your pre-conference. And Module 3, meet with your principal to discuss your partnership using that partnership agreement. And then here is the survey for this month.